Do I think that you shouldn't come to Japan? Hello, interwebs, and welcome back. I'm Shanna.
I'm Sarah.
And this is where I share my life and stories and adventures and opinions and whatever else I feel like. And today we are doing a collab with Miss Sarah, who is also known as Doro Bozaru. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Doro Bozaru.
You need to go check out her YouTube channel first if you are not already coming from there, because we opened a bunch of Pokemon cards on her channel, which is inspiring what we're doing over here today. So our biggest inspiration for what exactly we're doing on this channel actually comes from a Instagrammer. Is that how we would categorize her?
So I think she does TikTok and maybe YouTube or Twitch.
Yeah, her name is Bulbadork. You can go follow her here, but she does Pokemon-inspired makeup, Pokemon card-inspired makeup.
It's amazing.
Yes. Yes. So out of the cards that we opened on Sarah's YouTube channel today, we're going to choose our favorite. We're going to do her makeup, and we're going to answer all of your questions.
So many questions.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions. And of course, we're going to introduce more about her too.
Yay.
So, all right. So, should we show them what cards we're deciding between?
All right, let's do it this way. So, our first choice. Oh, your phone is so much friendlier than my camera. We've got a Butterfree here, looking gorge. We've got a beautiful Kanto Ninetales, and one of our new Galarian Pokemon. It's a VMAX Inteleon.
Yes.
And they're all very beautiful and colorful. I feel like I should defer to your expertise, though, because
I really think
you're the artist here.
one of these two.
One of these two?
Yeah.
So put Butterfree down?
Yeah, as much as I love Butterfree.
Which one belongs on my face?
Do you want to be hella colorful or do you want to be fiery? I almost feel like because this card is so special,
right?
Like, maybe we should do that one.
I think that's decided it there. It's Inteleon time.
Okay.
Boom.
You've got lots of purples and blues, some
yes.
yellow.
It's gorgeous.
Lots of sparkle.
A little bit of red in there,
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I mean, there's everything in here, really.
Yeah.
And the kitchen sink.
So I'm going to do her makeup, and we're going to answer some of your burning questions while I do that. I'm going to pour some wine, too.
Good idea.
Cheers! Kanpai!
Bye. This is a lovely mug, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I believe I can get one of these down below.
Oh, yeah, you totally can.
Just saying, if you want to be amazing, too.
Or
drink from one of these.
And also amazing.
Mosaic, as my students would say. Mosaic.
So, first things first, I need you to give us a short introduction about you while I do your makeup.
Oh my goodness,
So
where do I start?
Multitasking.
Well, back in 1910.
Short introduction.
So, I'm Sarah. I am Canadian. I've been living in Asia for 12 years now, teaching English to children. Obviously, I love Pokemon, and I love knitting, and I love kimono. I think that's a pretty good short introduction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely think so. So you've been teaching in Japan for 12 years?
10 years Japan, 2 years China.
Okay. And what is like the difference between teaching in Japan and teaching in China, or some of the differences, I should say?
The number one difference would be the confidence level of the students.
Yeah?
The kids I had in China were just like, yeah, no, my English #1 best. And I was like, absolutely. Whereas here, I ask kids a question and they're like, oh, no, I don't speak English. I'm like, but you're in an English class answering me in English right now.
Yeah. That's my favorite, is when a kid's like, oh, I don't speak any English, and you're like, you're literally speaking English right now. What are you talking about, child? It's hilarious to me. All right, so first real question we have is, how are things right now with the coronavirus, and should we visit next week?
Oh,
So,
goodness.
as most of you may know, schools in Japan are shut down. She teaches at, I guess it's an Eikaiwa, right?
Yeah. It's Eikaiwa, if you don't know, is English conversation class. I teach it to children, which means there's no conversation. There's just English with games.
But that's fun.
Yeah,
That's
usually.
fun.
But obviously we had to shut down because it's not safe to have a whole bunch of young children crammed together in a room when we don't know what's going on.
Right. So all the schools are shut down. There was a big crisis because some idiot on Twitter decided that, oh, all of the toilet paper is made in China, and because the toilet paper is made in China, we're not gonna have toilet paper. Everybody went out and bought toilet paper. Now there's no toilet paper.
It's insane.
But in reality, the toilet paper is made in Japan, so that's like not an issue. And aside from that, I would say Japan is probably no more or less safe than most other countries when it comes to catching the actual virus. I would say the concern is you never know what's going to happen. I saw an article today from NHK saying that there have been more borders closing and more like changes with like what countries are allowing whom to travel where, and you might get stuck.
Yes, that is a real fear.
Right. Also, if you're coming to do things like Team Lab or Disney or USJ, they're all closed. Ghibli is closed. Like, so some of the things that you might be interested in doing while you're here, you might not be able to do because they're closed. So these are all things that you should consider.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Do I think that you shouldn't come to Japan? No. Do I think that you should consider what you're wanting to do, and if you were to get stuck, would you be able to handle that, and would you be okay? Yes.
For sure. Yes. And the lack of things to do is a major problem for everyone here right now. Like I heard, just because all the children are home from school and there's no museums to go to, no amusement parks, like there's nowhere for them to go, automatically Amazon saw a spike in sales of things like Lego and Play-Doh and like workbooks and things, because some of the kids, they're losing 2 weeks of school at the end of the school year. So I'm sure Amazon's enjoying this right now.
Probably. They're not that they need the money, but they probably are getting a hell of a higher profit.
So for us, it's like, yeah, 2 weeks holiday, awesome. Can't really go anywhere or do much.
Yeah, but also your holiday is not paid.
Yes, depending on who you work for and how they've decided to do things, you might find yourself unpaid. Mine is unpaid. I'm using paid vacation days, so I don't suffer too much. But
mine, the area that I work in, the teachers still have to go to school, but I had holidays that I hadn't used, so I was like, I'm not sitting and staring at a wall for 9 hours.
Right?
All right, so our next question was, do you think the numbers are accurate? And I'm assuming that's talking about the corona numbers. Do we want to give an honest answer? No.
I'd say nah. I mean, the numbers reported are accurate.
Right. But they're not testing people. Yeah. They're not testing people. So, like, what's happening is, say you have all the symptoms, right? And you go to the doctor, and you're like, hey, I got all these symptoms. I don't know if I got the flu, or if I'm just sick, or if I got the corona. They're like, oh, well, have you been in direct contact with anybody from Wuhan, or have you been to Wuhan? And if you answer no, they go, all right, well, we're not testing you for corona. So of course our numbers are low. And whether our numbers are actually, you know, similar to Korea, which would make sense, or different from Korea, more or less, doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is we're not testing people, so there's no way to know.
I think that's the scariest thing, is just knowing that they are intentionally not testing people.
Right, right. And especially old people. Like, they're like, oh, we'll only test you if you've been running a fever for, like, I think it's like 2 days or something. Which is insane. Because at that point, like, the old people are the ones in danger.
Right?
You know? So, I don't know. That's more scary to me than the actual virus itself.
That's your yay and nay there. Yes, the numbers are probably accurate, but nay because the numbers are not being tested.
Right.
So.
All right, so our next question, it's kind of along the same... along the same lines as the other ones. Are you seeing any effects of the virus? Have you seen... What have you seen?
The lack of toilet paper. Like, that's probably the most ridiculous one. If you're talking about effects like on actual people, like people getting sick and dying kind of effects, no, like that's not something we're gonna see. But just as far as everybody's wearing masks, all the masks are sold out.
Way more masks.
And there's definitely a feeling of tension in the air, but that might also just be me because I get anxious easily.
It's just you. I think the only feelings of tension that I've gotten have been like when you're in a public space and somebody coughs or somebody sneezes, and it's like also allergy season here. So like you have to keep in mind that people are gonna cough and sneeze and they might not be sick. Hell, you might not even be having allergies, and sometimes you just gotta cough. You know? So, but you see like people look around and people panic for a second, and then it's like, could they calm down? It's all just so silly.
Yeah.
It's all so silly.
The one thing that we have not seen that we should be seeing, so masks are sold out, toilet paper sold out, hand sanitizer sold out, soap still sitting on the shelves.
Right, which
Hand
is
soap
weird because if you look at certain stores and stuff, they have like alcohol set up for you to wash your hands as you walk into the store. Like alcohol spray bottles, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Like in the the kimono shop. But you go to the bathroom and there's still no freaking soap for you to wash your hands with. And you still see people leaving the bathroom without washing their hands. Although, I do think more people have been washing their hands, especially because if you look at the statistics for flu, the amount of flu virus that's been diagnosed in Japan is significantly down for this year. And I think it's because people are washing their hands more because they're more concerned about corona, which they should be washing their hands anyway. That's my theory. Don't know how much validity there is to any theory that I put out here on the internet, but I got all kinds of ideas. Alright, so our next question. Oh, I think this was for me. Are you coming to the graduation ceremony? Yes, I will be coming to the graduation ceremony. Don't worry about that. Nothing is going to stop me, even if they tell me I'm not allowed to come, because I did hear that the Board of Education was like, we might not allow ALTs. I'm like, no, I'm a teacher too. I'm gonna be there. Don't tell me how to live my life.
Especially when it means something to you and the students.
Yeah.
Like, no. This is a very special time in everyone's life, and it's something you should be able to share together.
Exactly. Next question. What did you get your degrees in? Would you like to go first?
Well.
Well.
I don't have a degree.
At all?
Hey! I don't know if I was supposed to open my eyes or not.
At all?
At all. No degree.
How did you get a job here? Don't you need a bachelor's to...
Yes, you do.
Okay. Give us the tea. Give us the tea.
So I did go to college, but I did like a one year art fundamental program, got a certificate, went to graphic design, hated my school, dropped out, thought maybe I'll be a pharmacist. So I took like a 1 year math and science and health program. Really enjoyed that, got another certificate, and then I had a boyfriend who was like, you want to go to Japan? And I was like, yeah, let's go to Japan. So we both got TESOL certificates. And the TESOL school where we went happened to be recruiting, well, they had a recruiter for the company that I currently work for come to the school, and they hired us. Even though we didn't have degrees, they took both of us with just a certificate, 5-day TESOL certificate, and a working holiday visa. So I did 1 year in Osaka on that working holiday visa with this company. And then obviously had to leave at the end of the year because working holiday. So went to China for 2 years, and the combined 3 years experience is considered to be equivalent to having a degree. And this same company that recruited me, that I'm currently working for, was willing to take that risk and get me a visa and bring me back.
Really?
So, like, you might hear me complain about my job sometimes, but I have a great deal of loyalty to them because they did take a risk bringing over someone with no degree, sponsoring me for a visa, even though usually people like me can't get visas.
Yeah, it's very rare that, like, even with a sponsor, they will give a visa to somebody who doesn't have that degree.
So I have a great deal of gratitude and appreciation for that. And I mean, the higher-ups in the company who initially hired me and then brought me back, they can ask pretty much any favor of me and I will do it for them because they helped me out so much bringing me here.
Right.
That's my non-existent degree.
I didn't know you didn't have a degree. That's really cool.
I think these days it's a lot more strict. Like we're talking like 10 years ago. When
Oh,
I got
really?
approved.
Sorry. Interesting. Very interesting. I didn't know. My degree is in criminology and psychology. And I also have a certification to do hair and makeup. And I also have my TEFL certification.
It's like the criminology, psychology, and makeup and hair. So like you can find the body, figure out who done it, why they done it, and then make it look nice for the funeral.
Exactly. There you go.
Taking some leaps there, but in my head it all works
That's
out.
the whole reason why I got all of those, actually. That's the real story. How did you guys meet? Do you want to explain?
Oh my goodness. Well, we met through a Pokemon Go event. That's the simple explanation. But actually, like, we have had mutual acquaintances and friends for ages, I think.
Yeah.
So, like, I was hearing about Shauna all the time and just never had an excuse or reason to bump into her. And then just, yeah, you came to a Pokemon Go community day, I think?
Yep. Yeah, she actually used to live in the same town that was my, like, hometown in Japan, too. So we've kind of, like, been all around the same people since I came to Japan, and just never happened to meet up until that Pokemon event. So
That's crazy.
yeah.
It's funny, like, because the country is so small, but it can be so big at the same time.
Yeah. Question.
Yeah.
What's the biggest hurdle you have both overcome whilst living in Japan?
I would say for me, it's not necessarily a Japan thing, it's just I have an anxiety disorder. So being in a foreign country and adding all the usual things that trigger anxiety, it's just 10 times worse. So like making a phone call, I hate it. Making a phone call in a language I don't speak fluently, 10 times worse.
Yeah.
But when you manage to do those things, it's just like, oh my god,
You feel very accomplished.
like 10 gold stars, 15 points to Slytherin.
Yeah, yeah.
No, 1,500 points to Slytherin.
Exactly. I think my biggest hurdle, I've struggled with the anxiety thing too, but I think probably for me, I've always been the type of person to be okay with doing certain things by myself, but pushing myself to go do things by myself in a country where I didn't know the language at all was really challenging, because I love my parents to death, but I've always been kind of raised in this like little bubble of fear almost, where it's like you should be afraid of people and you should be afraid of doing things and you should be, you know, always somebody know where you are and all these different things, which it's important to be safe,
Right.
of course. But because of that bubble of fear that I was kind of raised in, I was always really afraid of going out and doing certain things by myself and really like pushing myself to get out of that bubble and be okay with going and doing things by myself and going to a different foreign country even than Japan by myself. And I think that was probably one of my biggest ones. Next question. What's your favorite Pokemon?
Oh god, no.
You can only choose one baby.
Only
Which
one
baby do you choose?
Well, the first one that comes to mind automatically is Gengar, so I'll go with Gengar.
Why Gengar?
Ooh, well, first he's purple. Purple's my favorite color.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, I love ghosts and spooky stuff. And not to get like dark or dramatic, but I have depression, so in my head I like to try and imagine it as Gengar.
Your depression is Gengar?
Because it's just like this dark shadow thing that kind of follows you around, and some days like it makes you feel horrible, which I think is accurate to Gengar's Pokedex entry.
Okay.
But it also can make me laugh and be kind of inspiring in ways.
Okay.
Which sounds terrible, but I mean, you gotta live with it somehow. You gotta survive with it. It doesn't go away. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that though. I like that.
And it's also, I personally, I find any sort of a mental illness, it helps to kind of give it a personality, and then it's easier to cope with. So, making it a big, friendly, round purple boy.
I like it.
Me. Even though he's a ghost, and I'm pretty sure I just passed through him. I'm gonna hug a Gengar.
You're gonna do your best.
Yeah.
You're gonna hug a Gengar and then you're gonna hug an orange, right?
Yes. Oh god, the hug and orange thing. How about you? Who's your favorite?
If I had to choose one, probably Eevee.
Eevee's a good one.
I love Eevee. I love that, like, Eevee can evolve and kind of be anything.
Exactly.
You know? You've got all the elements.
Eevee is just evidence that you can be anything you want to be.
Exactly.
Mimikyu is also up
I
there.
love Mimikyu.
And for kind of similar reasons, where it's like, it's so relatable that Mimikyu is like, everyone loves Pikachu and I want to be loved too, so I'm going to wear a little homemade costume and maybe people like me. And it's like, we all kind of put on a bit of a costume or a face when we go outside every day and hope for approval.
It's very true.
It's like, oh.
This is just a tinted moisturizer that I'm putting on you, by the way, because
No
I don't
worries.
have your foundation color.
Oh, that's totally fine.
So our next question, so we have two that are very similar. What's your favorite travel destination and what's your favorite place you've ever been to?
Ooh, that's really hard because I haven't traveled that much. I'm not so big on traveling by myself, but also like I'm always broke.
The struggle of being an English
Right?
teacher in Japan.
If I were to say off the top of my head, one place that's always stood out to me and I've always wanted to go back to is Edinburgh. I would love to go back to Edinburgh, Scotland.
What did you love about it?
I don't know, there's something like the history of the city was amazing. Knowing that it's literally like the history of the city is buried in layers beneath it, and being able to like go underground and see like some of the old buildings that were closed off after the Black Plague and then were used as foundations for the buildings built on top, like that was really fascinating and interesting. I don't know, there's something with the atmosphere there. It was very similar to me as when I came to Japan, where immediately I felt at home. So it was like, if I had to leave Japan for some reason, Scotland would probably be the next destination.
Okay.
Number 2 would be the panda place in Sichuan province, China, because pandas.
I mean, who doesn't love pandas?
Right? Panda kindergarten, like, hello. They were so cute.
Oh, I bet.
How about you? What's your favorite? What stands out to you?
So if I had to choose, and it's not Japan, if I had to choose somewhere outside of Japan, I would have to say either Australia or Vietnam. I loved Australia. Both of my trips to Australia were exciting and fun and beautiful, and the people in Australia were so nice. I loved Australia. But I just had such an amazing time on my trip in Vietnam too, that like, while there were some pretty big hurdles that I had to jump through for myself while I was in Vietnam, some problems that I ran into, the country itself was just so beautiful, and the experiences that I had there were amazing, and the food was delicious, and I met some really incredible people while I was there. Would I want to live there? No, it's too hot. But it's easily one of my favorite places that I've been.
That's a tough one too. Like, part of me would want to say China was one of my favorite places for travel, because I have been back to visit since living there. But with the way things are right now, not just with Corona, but just the government and everything, I wouldn't recommend people to go unless you know what's up.
Well, their government's scary.
Living behind the Great Firewall was certainly interesting. But Beijing, it's an amazing city.
Yeah.
I got the privilege of seeing it with the pollution greatly reduced thanks to the Olympics in 2008. Thank you, Olympics. It was amazing. To see the Forbidden City with blue skies is something I will never ever forget.
Yeah.
And like, there are people living in China who will never see that in their lifetime, and that's really sad to me. But I mean, if you get the chance to go, it's like an amazing country. It's just, there's a lot of things that are really difficult there right now, so.
Yeah, they got a lot of issues.
The people need our support, but not the government.
Yeah, I love Chinese people. I love my Chinese students. The government's scary to me.
I miss Chinese food so much. Oh my god. Most of the Chinese I can still remember, and this is like nearly 8 years, well no, 10 years now. Oh god, I'm so old. But most of the Chinese I remember is related to like the food I want. So
Really?
that's all you need to know, really.
I mean, that's some of the most important language you can learn.
If you
Please, thank you, hello, and food.
Yeah.
Next question is, what's your favorite self-care routine?
Oh, well. Should I go first? Do you want to go first?
Go ahead. You seem like you've got something to say.
I would say for me, it's get into a nice hot bath with a bath bomb. Oh, open, sorry.
It's okay.
A glass of wine and ice cream.
Ooh.
And my students always laugh at me when I say, like, I like to eat ice cream in the bath, but, like...
Why do they laugh? That sounds amazing.
It's the best place to have it, especially in winter. Like, if you're already cold, you get in that bath, and it gets all the soreness out of your muscles, relaxes you. You can eat your ice cream without getting too cold. It's just perfect.
I like it.
How about you?
My favorite self-care routine is when I do like a good skincare routine. So like when I use a face mask and then wash my face and then use a sheet mask and then chill out and have some wine and just relax, because as much as I love taking baths, I don't love it as much here because I'm too freaking tall for that damn bathtub.
Japanese baths are tiny.
Yeah. Now, if I could go to the onsen and do all that and chill out, that'd be great. But I don't get to go to the onsen very often.
Right.
So.
Tattoos, so.
Yeah, you're more limited on, like, where you can go. So for me, doing that skincare routine and having a glass of wine and just chilling out is the best.
Good. Once again, back to China. I miss being able to go to the bathhouse there and, like, show up, have a shower. This sounds weird, but, like, old ladies, like, massaged me with milk. It was the best. They would, like, you get a massage. I don't know why they were using milk, but they used milk. It felt amazing. I smelt amazing. They would do scraping, which if you've never experienced it and you have a low pain threshold, maybe don't do it. But they take a coin and, like, run it down your rib cage really hard to cause bruises, which sounds horrible. But afterwards, it felt like such a relief.
Really?
And I paid someone to do that to me.
Huh. Close your eyes. All right, next question. What kinds of animals do local families have as pets? I think, like, typical dog, cat, of course.
Yeah. Lots of dogs. Lots of toy-sized
really
dogs.
Popular. Hedgehogs are really popular.
I know amongst my students, like, they usually... I don't think they actually keep them at home, but I think a lot of them have a class pet that's a rabbit or a hamster. So a lot of them really like those. And then everybody seems to have fish. Beetles.
Yeah.
Beetles are really popular in summer.
Which, no thank you.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind, like, holding them and touching them. They're super cute, but...
I don't want one as a pet. I'll pass on that.
I feel sad for them, stuck in a little Tupperware container with a thing of jelly.
I know.
They should be wild and free. Free to beetle. Friedels.
Free to beetle.
And in terms of dogs, they're usually small dogs, like toy-sized breeds. You see a lot of toy poodles, a lot of Dachshunds, Chihuahuas.
Yeah, bigger dogs are more rare.
So when I see them, I have to run over and give them all the attention.
Yeah. Next question. What made you decide to travel, and what's your favorite part of your trip so far?
I mean, in my case, I didn't really decide to travel. I was dating a guy back in Canada who said, you want to go to Japan or China and teach English? And I was like, Japan sounds less scary than China. Let's do it. And as I said before, I don't really travel that much. So I think I kind of, maybe I'm a little codependent. Maybe I need someone else to be like, let's go, let's do something, and then I'll go travel.
But what's been your favorite part of being abroad so far?
For me, it's just feeling like I did it. Even though I initially needed somebody else to be able to get over here in the first place, the fact that I'm in a foreign country, that I'm trying sometimes to learn the language, I'm surviving, I'm communicating, I'm making friends. That's probably my favorite part. It's like there's such a big feeling of accomplishment for me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm a 36-year-old lady and I learned how to adult. Finally. Kind of. No, I didn't.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Hey, how about you?
I would say I kind of grew up traveling in a sense, because I was born in the UK, and then I was a baby when we moved to the US, and I went all over the US visiting family in different parts, and watched my dad travel, and watched my mom travel, and so it's something that I kind of grew up around, and I always wanted to travel because of that. And then I just decided one day, after seeing a friend of a friend go to Thailand to teach English and being like, how you doing that I was gonna do it.
Nice.
So yeah, and then my favorite part of my trip about being abroad is totally the independence that I've gained being abroad. Like, I went to university by myself and lived by myself and did all these things, but it's totally different being so far removed from everything that's comfortable.
Definitely. And
putting yourself in this situation and having to just figure it out. And it's a totally different kind of independence that I've absolutely loved.
Because when you're back home, like, like, if something happens, there's always somebody you can reach out and grab.
Absolutely.
But here it's like you can't reach.
Not always.
Too far.
You don't always have someone you can count
out.
on. Yeah.
Make it work.
Yep, absolutely. And you can. That's the exciting thing that you realize is that you can make it work. Like, no matter what life throws at you, no matter what curveball is thrown at you, like, you can figure it out. And you always do. You always find a way. And it's exciting when you have that realization.
For sure.
Next question. Most memorable adventure you've been on, and have you been in a dangerous situation while traveling? Ooh. Okay, so start with the most memorable.
Panda kindergarten.
Panda kindergarten.
I was with another teacher in Japan, another Canadian. We went to China together, ended up in Chengdu in Sichuan province, and went to one of the panda bases there where they have tons of pandas, obviously. They're breeding, researching them. And one of the areas was called Panda Kindergarten. And we were there just as it opened and just as the pandas got their breakfast. So imagine a herd of 1-year-old pandas just like out of their enclosure, running over, nom 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 on the bamboo. And then they're like, oh my god, I got bamboo in me. Run, 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 play, and then asleep.
That's so adorable.
And they're just like, run, 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 asleep. I'm like, oh, that's so cute.
That's adorable.
I can tell you guys all the stories. Haha. It just became the Sarah show.
Tell them if you've been in any kind of dangerous situation while abroad.
Overall, not really. I've been I have an anxiety disorder, so I am constantly wary of everyone and everything. But we almost got seriously scammed in Beijing. Once again, I was with this Canadian teacher, and we wanted to get Peking duck, as one does while you're in Beijing. And we went up to a place, they told us like, oh, sorry, kitchen's closed, last order's been taken, we're not letting any more customers. And this dude just comes running up to us out of nowhere from the street and is like, I saw you. The owner of my restaurant saw you. He feels sorry for you. He has a place at his Peking duck restaurant and saving a table for you. I had a bad feeling, but my friend wasn't fully listening to me, so I had to like go into a tourist information place. I went in being like, I forgot our map at home, silly me, and walked into the tourist thing and was like, this guy's trying to tell us he's got Peking duck at like a place down the road, is trying to drag us. And they were like, no, 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 do not go anywhere with that man. Like, it's a scam. At best, you're gonna get served pigeon. At worst, you don't want to know. And I was like, okay, I've read enough about scams in China to know better. So I went outside and made up some excuse like, oh God, suddenly my uterus has imploded. We need to go back to the hotel. And the guy was being like, oh, you're embarrassing me in front of the owner. Like, you have to come with me. And I was like, I'll embarrass you more if I get there and like bleed all over everything. And I think I might just start vomiting too, because I suddenly have a migraine kind of thing.
Wow.
So we got out of it, but there was definitely that moment of, if I didn't think fast, goodness knows what would have happened.
I've had a few dangerous situations with men while I've been traveling. But that could be a whole separate story time video on its own. So
that's scary.
Yeah, you just have to be really careful while you're traveling.
You do. And
For
like,
sure.
especially if you're used to life in Japan. Because in Japan, if a complete stranger sees you and is like, you look lost, do you need help? They are sincere and genuine, and they will help you.
Yeah.
Like, I've maybe had 1 or 2 situations where someone has grabbed me and tried to drag me down an alleyway here, but they were almost always trying to sell me hip-hop CDs. And they weren't Japanese, so...
You do have to be careful about men here, though.
Yes, definitely.
You really do.
But in, like, China, if someone comes and offers you help, you have to regard them with suspicion.
Regardless.
Yeah. Because there are genuinely, like, so many genuinely nice people, but as a foreigner there, even if you are Chinese and from a different part of China, they know that you're not a local, and...
We'll try and take advantage.
Yeah.
Really?
So, I mean, there are so many kind people over there, but the odds of you as a tourist finding those people is pretty rare. So it's best to always act with caution.
When did you start traveling, and what's something that surprised you about traveling? So when did you first go abroad?
First time I think I was 20. My mom took me on a tour of London and Scotland. And that was not so fun. There were some fun moments, but having to be in a tour bus and be dragged around was not so great.
Yeah.
I think the biggest surprise is just the cost of everything. Like, sometimes the cost of food and stuff isn't all that bad, but like...
Can I curl your hair?
Yes, you can. Cost of flights, hotels, buses, trains, taxis. When you put all that together, it's so much. Like, it adds up really, really fast. And then just the physical cost as well. Like, I think every trip I've been on, I've spent at least half a day, if not a full day, just sleeping in my hotel room at some point. Like, I always get completely worn out and feel like I'm wasting time, which is a terrible feeling, but...
I don't think you're wasting time when you're taking time to relax for yourself.
Definitely that's when it's a good time to get in the bath with ice cream. I mean, it's always a good time, but...
I need to try this getting in the bath with ice cream thing.
Even with the tiny Japanese bathtub, you know, you get it, jackknife it, your feet are up the wall. How about you? When did you start traveling?
When I was a baby.
Oh, that's right.
But if we want to start from, like, when I came to Japan on my own, it would have been 2016. And then for something that surprised me the most was just how, like, open and kind and helpful people really are. There's so many wonderful people in the world. Like, and you have this impression, like I was saying before about being put in my little fear bubble. Like, you have this impression that people are out to get you and nobody really wants to help you and nobody really cares and blah, blah, blah. And from the day that I arrived in Japan, from the day I left America, people were just so kind and so helpful, and every country that I've been to, like, I've met so many genuine people who just want to share their life and their culture and their own experience and history, and it's just inspiring. It's inspiring.
For sure.
Yeah. Where did you get that awesome umbrella? If you're talking about the clear one that was in my Instagram story, 7-Eleven Beach.
Yeah, in Japan, clear umbrellas are everywhere. You can't escape them.
This is good. And that actually concludes all of the questions that we had.
Question time's over.
So, question time is over.
If you have a question, deny.
If you have any questions we didn't answer, you can leave it in the comments, though.
Yes.
All right. Should we do the big reveal?
Yes.
The grand reveal.
How should I do this?
All right. And this is our final look. Ooh.
I still don't know what I look like, but this is the final look.
Yeah, I would show you, but we gotta get you to hold up a mirror so you can see.
Yay! Oh wow, that is amazing, and my hair too. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, I love the colors. I love the way you did the yellow in the middle. That is so cute. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes. Thank you. That is so awesome.
Yay!
Can you guys see how awesome this is? That's amazing. Oh my goodness. I was just like, I just want to throw this down and like get my phone out and be like, selfie time.
All right, guys. And that is the final look. And I think it turned out pretty close to the card.
I think so. Especially with the bit of yellow in the middle, like that just like bam, it's a tele-on.
I figured because it has this like yellow eyelid. I was like, we need to have some good yellow on the eyelid, and then with all the purples and the blues and then the red underneath.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yay! Yay! I'm so glad. I'm so glad. So, if you guys aren't already, if you aren't coming from her channel, if you're new here, whatever it is, make sure you go check Miss Sarah out. She is amazing. She does lots of really good Pokemon content. And, she's just hilarious to watch. So, like, even if you aren't necessarily into Pokemon cards or into Pokemon, listen to her talk about her life and rambling and whatever's important to her is really fun and entertaining. And I enjoy it. And I know nothing about Pokemon cards, but you get to see me watch Pokemon cards on her channel with her, which was really fun.
So much fun.
So, alright guys, that pretty much wraps it up for this one. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. And if you don't know what to comment down below, you can leave. What emoji should we do? I don't think eyebrow emoji. I don't think there's an eyebrow emoji. Is there a lizard? I feel like she looks like a lizard. Is she a lizard? She's a space lizard.
There's at least a snake.
Is she a space lizard?
Space lizard. Something spacey.
Something spacey?
A moon? A rocket?
Oh,
a snake.
Leave a moon and a snake or a lizard.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go. Not only does it help out my channel a lot, but it lets you know that you were here. It gives us a chance to chat, and of course, I just love to see your faces down there. If you want another way to help out my channel, down below there are links to my website, my merch store, and my Patreon. There is zero obligation to check any of this out, but if you want to, you can. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all of you, and I appreciate Sarah so very much. And I will see you next time. Bye! That'd be really
Sometimes
funny.
I put it in a ponytail and the kids are like, "Hey, chonmage," which is like a old samurai hairstyle. I'm like,
You're like,
sure,
sure, why not? It is what it is.
I am your little samurai. The problem now is I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see my face. So I just want to make all the faces. So
You got. Look at them brows.
I cannot see them, but that's okay. Actually, that's half the fun of this because I just see a blur. I literally see like Slender Man with a sweater. And if you need me to like move over or anything so that you're more in frame, just go for it. Push me around.
They see my face all the time. They'll be fine.
Like the fact that they'll come and punch me in the tit like 10 times during a lesson and just be like, boobs, opie, opie, opie. And then I put my hair up and they're like, are you a man or a woman? I'm like, like child.
That's hilarious. Are you a man or a woman? You're
Right?
like, what do you think?
I mean, if it starts right off at the beginning, the first meeting ever, it's like, yeah, of course. I can see why you might be a little confused. But if you just been punching my breast, I think you know the answer to that question. I have a high pain tolerance.
Oh, we're going there. Okay. Hashtag Japan life.
Right?
At its
Cool
finest.
Japan.
Oh my god, for real. And if you put something on and you're like, you know, I don't really like this that much, or I don't really like how that turned out, you can take it right off.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to wear it out. It's not a big deal. You don't even gotta take a picture of it. Nobody's gotta know. We might delete this video. Nobody's gotta know. I love when people do that. Like they'll get their dog to choose, or
Oh my gosh.
and then they've gotta make it work. I'm like, yes.
I was about to say, like, it almost makes me want a toddler to help me with creative things. And then I was like, wait, no, dog? Yes, dog is better. I choose dog.
I choose dog.
I think the worst part of it is I always hear my mom's voice in my head from childhood being like, you have to clean your room. What if there's a fire and you need to get out and you're going to trip over all this stuff? And I'm just like, shut up, Mom.
If there was a fire or an earthquake right now, I'm literally because my shit is everywhere.
Although I've had, this is super depressing in a way, but also my dark sense of humor. I've had moments where I'm like, just bring it. Bring on the fire, and then I don't have to clean up. I'll start fresh.
I don't have to worry
insurance
about
money,
getting rid of anything.
Right? I will hit a certain point of boredom during this holiday where I will totally fight a stranger, so, you know, watch out, BOE.
Why you so cute, though? I don't know. Why she so cute, though? Look at that face.
My immediate reaction when everyone's like, cute, pretty, beautiful, is just like... excitement.
Look at your hair.
I can't see.
Oh. Do you still love me? Yes, I still love you, Sebs. And I'm sure Sarah will love you too.
I don't know you, but love you anyway.